What's happening, sexies? Welcome to another edition of Flirting with Danger on the Dolce Vita Lifestyle channel. I am the dangerous one. Before we get started, because I got a good one to toss around for you today that you can all relate with. Before we get started, though, I want you to absolutely destroy that like button and send it to someone who can relate, which is basically all of us. This is for the gentlemen out there, though. And then, ladies, don't get pissed off. Just one man's opinion. Actually, it's one man's inquiry. But this is actually a reaction video to another video that I'm going to show you in a second. But before we get started, would you rather, this is the question I posed to you, gentlemen out there, would you rather travel with your girl, generally speaking, or by yourself or with, say, a buddy or buddies? And I'm talking about a relationship chick now. Here's the dynamics. I'm going to give you the dynamics here because the dynamics matter. You're with a girl you've been dating for over a year. All right, it could be longer than that, but over a year. Okay, so it's a committed relationship at this point. Committed relationship girl, or your buddies, or by yourself. And this is, it could be a road trip. It could be definitely traveling the world would be a big one, right? So if it's like international travel, something that requires some logistics, who would you rather travel with? All right, so there's that. Contemplate that. Then I want you to contemplate this question. Would you rather travel to a destination with a woman that you've been in a relationship with for a year? Or let's say it's been a little bit longer than that. It doesn't matter. A year or more. Or would you rather travel with a girl or meet a girl there, destination-wise, that you just find attractive, you have no expectations with? It could be a hookup, what have you, but that scenario. Which one? And I have no answer for you. I'm just curious what you guys think. Okay, so it depends, right? Depends on what kind of experience you want. If you want a travel adventure, might make it kind of difficult. And that's what this video is all about. This is what the reaction video is to an Andrew Tate. I know you guys know who Andrew Tate is. Andrew Tate is a provocateur, if you will. He gets labeled a lot of things by the mainstream media. Misogynist is one. An asshole is another one. But if you listen to his long content stuff, a lot of times you're just like anybody else. Anybody that's famous or that the mainstream media doesn't like is often attacked, right? So I never pay attention to what the narrative is. I always go right to the source and figure out what my opinion is of this person. I think it's only fair. If I'm going to have an opinion bad about someone, I want to go straight to the source and figure it out. I don't know this person. I'm not going to take the mainstream media's view on it. I'm going to figure it out, what it's about. So I've listened to some of his long content format, and I have my own opinions about him. No one's perfect, but here's one thing you cannot doubt about the guy. He's not stupid. He's very articulate, knows his shit, can articulate it well, and he's probably got more points than the people to support his arguments than the people that criticize him. And so this particular take, he is speaking about traveling with women. So let's check it out.
I don't like traveling the world with women. I think it's one of the most frustrating things a man can possibly do. Imagine you had to travel around the world and you had to take a 3-year-old. You'd be like, and now you go, where's my 3-year-old? How's it 8? I have to make sure they're safe. Got to bring all their stuff. It's exactly the same with the chick. Me and my brother, we're Spartan, right? We can just go, walk up at an airport. Oh, there's no flight for 11 hours. Sleep in the airport terminal. Don't eat. Don't sleep. One bag on our back. Old school soldiers. We don't care. With a chick, it's all, oh, I need food. I need water. Where's my stuff? My case is 55 kilo. Oh, I forgot this foundation. I need to find this foundation. It's horrible.
I do agree. Like if I haven't eaten, I'm not good.
Yeah. So women are effectively children. And
well, no, we're just different.
No.
We're just different to men. We're not children. A child couldn't sit here and have this conversation with you.
Women have to be monitored and maintained and maintenance effectively like a child would when it comes to
not
travel.
like a child.
Yeah, same, exactly the same. It's the same.
It's interesting.
Yeah, no, listen, if I'm going to go Iraq, Afghanistan, all the places, and I've been to these places, I go with Tristan. We're battle ready. You hear the AK go off, we start running. Like a chick will all be standing there.
Interesting take. Do you agree? Do you agree? Now, I got to be honest with you. He's not wrong. Now, would I have said it as provocatively as he had? Maybe, maybe not. Um, comparing it women to a 3-year-old in this scenario is going to be very inflammatory to a lot of women who cannot take a joke. But he's not necessarily wrong. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you my take on it. I'm going to give you scenarios that I've been in. Now, for me personally, if I want to have an adventure, now if I want to have like a romantic, and I know it's not going to be an adventure, it's just going to be about she and I, the girl that I'm dating, then I don't mind taking a road trip, a short one, certain, like for a couple days. I know it's a certain amount of time that I know I have the bandwidth to deal with. Because it is going to be a different experience, and it's going to be very obligatory in a lot of sense. It's not going to be the same experience I'm going to have if I go by myself with my buddy, which to be very clear, very direct, very easy, very low maintenance. I'm going to be in, I'm going to know what I want to do, have fun, and enjoy myself. This is going to be like more of what he's explained. The dynamic is going to be monitoring her, making sure she's okay. How are her moods right now? Did she forget anything? Or we have to go back? And I'm waiting around a lot. And look, dudes can be bad too. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've traveled with some pretty bad companions on trips as well. They're dudes, but generally speaking, I know what he's referring to. Or if I'm going on, like, let's say I'm going to international travel, I'm going to go to a vacation destination. If I know what I'm getting into prior to, I can mentally prepare, but I know it's not going to be like an adventure necessarily, right? Unless, right? So, for example, if I'm going to Vegas, are you going to bring your buddies or yourself to Vegas, or meet some chick there that's kind of adventurous, or are you going to go with your girlfriend? I mean, it's a different experience. You're probably not going to bring your girlfriend to Vegas. I mean, you can, but it's going to be a different experience. It's not going to probably be as adventurous, is my guess, right? And by the way, having anybody, that's why a lot of times I go on trips by myself, which a lot of people are like, what, really? You will run it, because here's the thing. You're going to be forced to meet different people, and you're going to put yourself in scenarios that you wouldn't otherwise. And you have the spontaneity, the ability to be flexible, the ability to be pliable in a situation. So if you want to do something cool, you don't have to get permission from another human being. This is your experience. You don't have to compromise all the time. There's some times where it's good to be selfish. It really is. And having to compromise all the time. I mean, think about it. Let's just talk about vacations. Your average person gets, at least in the Western world, gets 2 weeks of vacation a year. I know, pathetic. It's absolutely makes us into robots, and no wonder we're all stressed out all the time. But anyway, that's 14 days out of 365 that are devoted to your time. Okay. Now, if you're taking it and doing something that, I think your average guy, yeah, of course he's going to say, or that he wants to spend time with his woman, and he does. But is he going to get the same experience that he might have gotten back in the day when he wasn't dating her with his buddies? He doesn't get that chance with his buddies very often. He doesn't get that chance with himself that often. And so what ends up happening is he ends up going on some, sort of couples retreat or couples, vacation experience, which is fine, but it is different. Traveling with a girlfriend is like showering with a girlfriend, right? A committed girlfriend. Sounds great on paper, but you've been there, done that, right? Sounds wonderful until you get in. There's soap everywhere. There may not be enough room in the bathroom to get around, right? You're cold, she's hot, then you switch, and you're cold, and you're not getting enough water. You got suds everywhere. So traveling's like that. It's like, it sounds great on paper with the woman you're dating, but to overcome the dynamics and the logistics of that experience far outweighs a lot of times the adventure, any sort of fun that you would have on that experience. And again, I know that it's not popular to say, but I do commend someone who's bold enough to say that, like Andrew Tate, because he's not lying. It is true. I've been there. I've been on these situations where, first of all, if you're going to travel in the world or anywhere, you're going to compromise. Even if you bring a buddy, you're compromising to some degree. But buddy, typically, the way the men communicate, if I'm going on a road trip or a travel adventure with a buddy, let's say I'm traveling the world, we communicate the fastest point from point A to point B in as simple manner as possible. And if you don't like something, or I don't like, then you do something else and I'll do something else. But both guys are usually pretty happy-go-lucky, Cool. That's cool. Hey, man, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And you just go with the flow. It's very easy. If there's a problem, we solve it. We move forward. Very simple. No unnecessary drama. No bullshit. We're here to enjoy the adventure, and we'll probably talk about it for years to come. That's how it is. That's the dynamic. It's interesting. It's fun. We're going to have some funny ass stories to tell, and we're going to enjoy every minute of the ride. That's not the same experience, at least that I've ever had. Gentlemen, you correct yourself, from a girl that I've ever dated, ever. And it's not the girl's fault. That's just the dynamic. It really is like you're monitoring her moods. It's not, you're monitoring what she needs. She's hungry now. She's got to go to the bathroom now. You're waiting. She's got to do her hair. I wanted to go here, but now she doesn't want to go there. She wants to go here. Now she's tired. She's got to go to bed. Um, so it's one of those things where you're constantly making sure that she's enjoying the experience as opposed to organically and naturally enjoying this experience. All right. I want to go here. She wants to go there. Um, just so much to it that is, you don't even have to think about when you're by yourself. Is this the hotel going to be good enough? Is she going to feel safe here? Right? If this is too hot, this is too cold. We're doing too much walking. We're not doing enough walking. It's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. We want these tickets, but she wants these tickets. And it's like, oh, but when you're with a dude, it's now here's the exception. Because it's not about being a woman or a man. It's the dynamic. I mean, some of it is obviously, but it's the dynamic of that woman. If she's not your girlfriend yet, and it's a new experience, it's Magellan. She doesn't have any expectations for you. You don't have any expectations for her. You're under no obligation other than to just enjoy each other's company. Maybe you meet them when you're over there. Maybe you're having a travel adventure with them once you meet them. Maybe it's a girl you've already known, but you haven't seen in a while, and you hang out and you travel with them. Or maybe it's a friend of yours who's a girl, or a girl that you haven't hooked up with, or you're hooked up with a little bit, whatever. It makes the experience a little more interesting, doesn't it? As opposed to, it's a girl I've dated for how many years, and it's not anything her fault. It's just a different experience now. You feel responsible for her every step of the way. It's a different experience. And it's not to say that it can't be fun traveling with your significant other, but it is in my experience, a subdued, less interesting, and it tends to be very frustrating at times. At least I've been in those situations that I think Andrew Tate is referring to, whereas you're waiting around. All right, the bag's too heavy. Do I need to carry this? Okay, it becomes more of a chore. Like, it does feel like, oh, you're traveling with kids. And again, that's not to be insulting. It's just what it feels like. The dynamic is such. Anyway, that's a bit inflammatory, I'm sure. But I'm sure there are people out there that agree with Andrew Tate. I do agree with him to some degree there. I mean, I've experienced that myself. I know a lot of people probably have, and I know women have experienced that as well. And I know that there's women that travel with other women that experience that same thing, where you're with somebody, they got to talk to every single person, right? Or they got to stop take a picture of every single thing, and they're very high maintenance. They need something at all times. Oh, they need medication for this. We got to go to the CVS. They have a headache. They sprained their toe. The bag's too heavy. The bag's too light. They left their bag. They didn't bring their medications. They taking 3 hours to get ready. I mean, all these things. Now they're tired and they want to go home now. All these situations occur, and it's a big pain in the ass, which you don't experience that. At least I don't when I'm traveling with buddies, or if I'm traveling by myself, then the only person I got to look out after is myself, right? So it makes it just a lot easier, a lot less high maintenance. So when you're traveling, you don't want high maintenance anything. Not only do you want to travel light, literally, but you want to travel metaphorically with as little baggage as possible and be open to the possibilities and opportunities and have a good time and experience the local culture, local color, and local people. Hard to do that if you're with a high maintenance person, or if you're with somebody you feel like you have to monitor. And I'm not saying that all women are like that, but I am saying that the dynamic is such, if you're dating a woman for a long time and it's more of a committed relationship, it's a different experience, guys. And for me, I don't always enjoy that more. It's not as interesting. It's not as compelling. I've done a lot of both. So I feel like I have the right to talk about it. And for me, anyway, I don't find it that enjoyable. when it's with somebody you're dating compared to if you're traveling by yourself with a buddy. It's just a different experience. It's not bad. It's just different. Although it can be bad. It actually can be bad. But because it can take a lot of the enjoyment away. It's almost like the opportunity cost. What if I were here and I didn't have to deal with this shit? You know what I mean? What if I didn't have to deal with this shit? Then I could really have a good time. I could really enjoy it, but I can't because I got to babysit. And I don't like babysitting people in general. I certainly don't like babysitting adults, and I don't like babysitting people's emotions. Right? And to me, sometimes you have to do all those things when you're traveling with a significant other. And I'm sure women feel that way about guys sometimes, but I know there are women because I've talked to you that feel that way about traveling with certain women they've dated or not dated, but or just friends with. But I think a lot of it's just a dynamic because I've traveled with women that I didn't date, and it was a fun adventure because it was like, oh, what's happening? I don't know this woman very well. We're both experiencing the same adventure together. It becomes romantic and sexy and hot. So it just kind of depends, right? Kind of depends on the dynamic. Depends on the person you're dating or not dating, also, obviously. But generally speaking, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section below, as always. Be safe, not too safe. Live dangerously, ladies and gentlemen.